Welcome to the Sunday preview for this Sunday, March 14th. And among other things, this Sunday is a year since we started the lockdowns due to COVID. And the gospel this week gives us a little ray of light and hope. Let's read it. It's from chapter 3 of St. John's Gospel. And it says, Jesus said to Nicodemus, "Just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that everyone who believes in him may not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him. Whoever believes in him will not be condemned, but whoever does not believe has already been condemned, because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. And this is the verdict, that the light came into the world, but people preferred darkness to light, because their works were evil. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light, and does not come toward the light, so that his works might not be exposed. But whoever lives the truth comes to the light, so that his works may be clearly seen as done in God." The Gospel of the Lord. St. John always has a theme of light and darkness. It runs right through his Gospel and through his letters in the New Testament. And it's this interplay between the light and the darkness that's always a fascinating topic for St. John. And the truth is, what he gets across to us is that many people seem to prefer the darkness. They don't even seem to realize that they're in the dark. And isn't that true today? I remember Plato, the great Greek philosopher, wrote a little piece called The Allegory of the Cave. And he imagined this scenario where a whole bunch of people were tied up in a cave facing a wall. And they were in the dark. And all they could see were some shadowy figures, reflections from the sun outside as people walked by outside. And all they could see were these hazy, shadowy figures. But that's the only reality that they knew. That was the only world that they were ever accustomed to. Anyway, one day, one of those prisoners in the cave breaks out and runs out to the mouth of the cave, and he sees the sun and he sees the light, and he's exhilarated by it. And he comes back into the cave and tries to explain to the others that there's light outside and that there's a real world outside, and it's not just a shadowy world. And they get angry at him, and they told him he's delusional, and they kill him. And that's very much the way it is, right, in the world today. You know, that people prefer the darkness to the light. And yet, God is light, and Jesus brings the light of life to us. And we need to believe in him. And that's the challenge for us all, is to turn toward him and prefer to walk in the light. It's the same with all those movies you see about the end of the world and the apocalyptic movies where there's some kind of disaster is taking place. They always film those things in darkness and in shadows. And that's what death is all about, is darkness and shadows. But Christ offers himself so that we can walk in the light. The challenge for us is to leave the works of darkness, to recognize them for what they are, and to believe in the name of the Son of Man, because he'll lead us to the truth and he'll lead us to the light. Are you ready to walk in the light and leave behind the works of darkness?